Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'll be showcasing the 4th empire we've created for our South Asian D&D setting. Just quickly for those who don't know, at Diadamo Publishing we've created a South Asian inspired Dungeons & Dragons setting called the Guru's Teaching of Bharaja, aka InD&D. Traditionally, Dungeons & Dragons has been a very Eurocentric and Tolkien-esque affair, so we thought we'd create something a little bit different. If you want to know more about why we've done what we've done, feel free to check out our previous videos which detail our motivations and aspirations for the project. So, the Sonal Empire is inspired by the Gupta Empire, which existed between the early 4th and early 6th century. This period of time is also referred to as the Classical or Golden Age of India. The Gupta dynasty unified northern India through conquering no less than 21 other kingdoms. The unification led to an unprecedented religious, cultural, scientific and political renaissance. The Guptas were Hindu and the religion spread through much of Asia, but the Gupta leaders were tolerant of other religions as Buddhists and Jains practiced freely. Cities were adorned with temples, monasteries and statues. Whether it be the achievements in architecture, sculpture or painting, the creations in this period set the standards of form and taste that determined the whole subsequent course of art, not only for India but far beyond her borders. Literature from the Panchatantra, which was an ancient Indian collection of interrelated animal fables, to the epic tales of Ramayana and Mahabharata, where Vishnu descends to earth in the form of avatars, were written and popularized during this period. In the realms of science, mathematics, astrology and philosophy, huge strides were made. The decimal numeral system, including the concept of the zero, was invented during this era, as was the sine function. Gupta philosophers proposed that the earth was not flat, but was instead round and rotated on an axis by viewing lunar eclipses. The concept of gravity was also offered during this time, and astronomers made a breakthrough when they discovered different planets and started to make horoscopes based on the planets' positions. And a random but fun fact, the game of chess was invented in India during this time. Politically, the Gupta Empire operated under a hereditary monarchy, where ministers chose who took the throne. The oldest son didn't always inherit the throne, but the most qualified son did. Sadly, a not-so-golden part of the Golden Age was the existence of a form of slavery due to the caste system becoming more rigid during this time. There was a class known as the Shruders, the lowest of the 4 castes. They were reduced to serfs and treated like property. So that's the historical background, and now onto the fictional empire we've created in our South Asian D&D setting. The Sonal Empire is one which has historically been associated with knowledge, whether it be in the realms of science, technology, astrology, or literature. Located in the east of Bharaja, the empire has produced some of the greatest intellects in the entire subcontinent, and with it some of the most impressive innovations, one of which centers around gold, which the empire's previous generations discovered a bountiful abundance of. It was found that when placed under sunlight, the gold started to mysteriously glow, shimmer, and become warm to the touch. To many, this was a sign it was a sacred material, and that the empire should be covered in it. With the vast amount of material at their disposal, this is exactly what occurred, as the majority of structures in the land began to use gold as their primary building material. This resulted in very warm buildings, which retained heat even into the embers of the night. However, there was far more than met the eye when it came to the gold, other than warmth. As the years went by and technological advancements were made, scientists and engineers continued to investigate the material, to discover why it was the way it was, and whether there was more potential to be unlocked. It turned out that due to the unique composition and purity of the gold, it was able to absorb and store the energy of the sun. Scientists began creating wearable gold items in the form of bangles to be worn on each wrist. These bangles allowed the wearer to channel the energy of the sun through their hands.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Heat, flames and light could be manipulated at will, and the bangles could be used for offensive, defensive and alternate purposes, including entertainment. As we enter the modern day Sonal Empire, the society has grown, but not in the way that you'd expect for such an intelligent and advanced populace. The society has always run on a hereditary monarchy, where there is one ruler. But a group of ministers decide who of the bloodline is to take the throne when a new appointment is required. Therefore, the oldest did not always inherit the throne, but the most qualified son or daughter did. The current ruler of Sonal was Emperor Dokar, a very popular emperor known for his laughter-inducing speeches when addressing his subjects. But to his ministers, he was one of the hardest working individuals they had ever seen. The Emperor spends most of his time working in the Empire's science division. Dokka believes that the limits of the gold's potential has not yet been reached, and if the material can harness the powers of the sun so efficiently, what would happen if it was exposed to the energy of other planets and stars? He is obsessed with this research and will achieve his findings by any means necessary. In secret, Dokka has begun kidnapping those from bordering empires, and has created an enslaved community whose sole purpose is to mine gold in the region. Despite their forced efforts, it's clear to see that what was once a plentiful supply of gold that the region possessed is now dwindling. He has begun interrogating these slaves on their homelands and whether there were new sources of gold to mine. Based on the obtained information, Dokka has started to send out groups of these slaves into the wider empires under the guard of some of his most trusted and discreet subordinate generals. More resources must be found in order to continue his pursuit of greater power.
The absolute power!
And that is the Sonal Empire. Really hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, we took a more literal approach when it came to the Golden Age, as well as paid homage to the themes of scientific innovation and advancements in astrology. If you're interested in what we're doing with this South Asian D&D setting, do hit subscribe or follow, and take a look through our Reels and YouTube Shorts, as we're posting lots of those in between these chunkier uploads, drip feeding bits and bobs about our pantheon of gods, monsters, and much more. Next up is the Then Empire. Stay tuned for that video coming soon.